I want to know what video games have the best lore.
My first pick is definitely Elden Ring, and I think that should be everyone's first pick, frankly, because it really does have the best lore. The only way you can find out what's happening is by reading the items that you pick up. You have to kind of experience the lore through the game organically through playing it and through reading the stuff that you're picking up, and it's nuts. There's a character called the Dung Eater. I mean, how crazy is that? And he really does eat dung.
500 wiki pages of on that alone.
Yeah.
For sure.
For my first pick, also, it's got a surprisingly large amount of lore that you can find out through items, but also character backstories, is Dead by Daylight. One of the really cool things about this game is that it launched back in, 2018, and it really just had bare bones characters of any sort of multiplayer, but they've continued to build these sorts of things with seasonal chapters and stories and tomes that you would read. And then over time, you get to learn more and more about them, and they all are different and they come from different worlds. And then they add more characters, and then there's this entity that's this overall character. It's hard to keep up with. It's exhausting, but in a good way, because you're learning so much about these survivors that you've been spending years with. It's a great game for lore with a rich backstory for all of your favorite characters, and I love it.
My first pick, boys, don't at me, but I couldn't help it. It has to be Death Stranding. Now, I could have picked a lot of different Kojima games, but to be honest, Death Stranding just had something so unique about it. Everything just feels like a completely unique experience. You could look up anything in the game and get a 1,000,000-word explanation on it. It is just so cool. The subreddit has so many active users. So many different times you'll go and be like, I didn't even know you could do such a thing, or did you make this connection? I love those types of games that just are single player, but they just go on forever. It's a beautiful thing. I can't wait for 2. I'm about to pre-order the second one. Get ready for more Death Stranding word vomit from me.
My second one is Horizon Zero Dawn universe. I think that game is one of the most interesting games. For one, it's beautiful. 2, the twist, or when you find out what's happening in this world, really blew me away. I thought it was so creative. I loved learning about it. So much fun experiencing what's happening in that game. I really love them, and I think they're great. They're great lore games for me.
I don't necessarily love that game, but I will agree it does have some great lore and some really cool explanations for the creatures in the world and why it is what it is. My favorite lore are the ones that kind of continue, kind of like DBD. I love the Outlast Trials. This one also is at the beginning stages of its amazing lore. This multiplayer game started out with being a test subject in like Cold War 1950s and 60s themed haunted houses, and that was the beginning of how it launched. But eventually one of you goes rogue, and it was Emily Barlow. She breaks out, and then she's in the walls, and she was leaving us notes for one season. And then the next season, they busted through the walls and they got Emily and they lobotomized her. And instead of kill her, they introduced her into the trials. And then the backstory of the killers in the game are themselves, like Mother Gooseberry. She used to be the host of a children's television show, and her dad was a dentist, Dr. Futterman, but then he died and she was obsessed with him. So she took the puppet from her show and she put a dentist drill in its mouth. And so she runs around talking to Dr. Daddy all the time on her hand. It's completely weird and completely wild. It has a great storyline going on. Really fun, strong imagination, and a terrifying experience. It's fun with your friends.
My last pick, it's got to be Counter-Strike. Now, this is one of the longest running first-person shooter games out there. It goes so deep. You can learn 1,000,000 different strategies. You can watch how some of these levels that have become legendary maps, how these things have come to be by just like one little designer just like ripped it out in his basement, and now it's elevated to like legendary status. It is just so cool. I love how every little thing can be investigated in that game, and it makes sense why this game is just such a long running masterpiece. And now we're on Counter-Strike 2. It's just awesome. Great stuff. Highly recommend diving down that rabbit hole. Thank you guys for your answers, and if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe, and also comment if you have any other games with great lore.